Yo, how is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Will Allen Robinson get an extension in Chicago, and what will the dollar amount be on that extension? We're going to be answering these questions and many more today in episode 28 of Uncut. Welcome back to the show, guys. Before I introduce myself and my co-hosts for this episode, I would like to say we're trying to hit 1.5k subs this week. We're about 130 away. If you guys want more Bears content and are stumbling upon our channel, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. Click the bell for notifications whenever we post. We truly do post Bears content every day of the week. I never would have thought that would have been possible about 2 months ago, but here we are. We're really growing and we're grinding for you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. Let's get right into it. I am your host, Chris Malpe, and today I am joined with my co-hosts, Jaylen McClinton and Zach Rimbos. How's it going, guys?
Going pretty well.
Pretty good.
It's a pretty good day here in suburban Chicago. Can't really complain. We're kind of shifting towards the summer, and we're hopefully getting out of quarantine soon. And something else we obviously hope that will get done this summer or before the season is an Allen Robinson extension. That's what we're talking about today. I've got a little spiel to read off, and then we're going to answer some questions, but let's get right into it. First off, the first thing I have to say, and I'm not going to answer this question later. I'm going to be asking Jaylen and Zach this question later. But in my mind, Allen Robinson is a number one wide receiver. No ifs, ands, or buts, Ryan Clark. He's had 153 receptions for almost 2,000 yards in 2 seasons as a Bear. If he continues to be as productive, he's set to crush how productive he was in Jacksonville in 4 seasons. Also note that he tore his ACL in his 4th season in Jacksonville. He's coming off an ACL injury. It's been real inspirational to see how he's returned to being such a productive wide receiver off that ACL injury. He had 7 touchdowns on 98 receptions in 2019, also caught 63.6% of the balls thrown his way. I think we can all agree that, sometimes the quarterback play was a little bit off there in 2019, more like a lot of bit off, and he was still able to be very productive. He averaged 7.7 yards per target during his time in Chicago. During 2019 specifically, he averaged 71.7 yards per game on 6 receptions per game, so very productive all over the field. He's really productive, and he reached 1,000 receiving yards, 1,147 to be specific there in 2019, and he's set to be very productive yet again in 2020. And I think we can all agree that he definitely deserves an extension in Chicago. Zach, I'm going to pass it to you for this first question. Obviously, the Bears added a lot of talent at wide receiver this offseason, and there are also a lot of receivers vying for more balls their way, like O'Reilly Ridley, like Javon Wims, obviously adding Ted Ginn Jr., Trevor Davis, and Darnell Mooney. Obviously, all these guys won't make the team, but that being said, there's still going to be a ton of players vying for more catches, including Anthony Miller if he can stay healthy. That being said, do you think Allen Robinson has 1K receiving yards again in 2020?
Yeah, I think so. We talked about it. The quarterback play was not the greatest last year. Our line was not good either. So the fact that he put up 1,000 receiving yards, our offense took a really, really big step back. And we're talking about we didn't really have the weapons I think that we have this season now. I think that with the addition of Ted Ginn Jr., the addition of Darnell Mooney, these players that we brought in, I think they're going to be only beneficial for Allen Robinson, who I think is going to look for a revenge season. And the fact that he didn't make the Pro Bowl last season, and he definitely deserved a spot there. I think that he's going to get 1,000 receiving yards again. I think he's going to the Pro Bowl this season.
I really hope he makes the Pro Bowl this year.
Hopefully he doesn't go to the Pro Bowl. Hopefully we're in the Super Bowl. But
yeah, I mean, you would hope that he's not going to the Pro Bowl, but still gets that nomination. It's tough not to say AR is going to get 1,000 receiving yards. Whoever's at quarterback, obviously, if we think it's going to be Trubisky, it's going to be an improved Trubisky who can really hit the targets and takes another step. And if not, it's Nick Foles, who arguably will be the best quarterback that Allen Robinson will have played with in his career. Been a little bit of a tough go there, playing with inconsistent quarterbacks, with Blake Bortles down there in Jacksonville, now with Trubisky up here in Chicago. Obviously, the entire offense took a step back in 2019 outside of Allen Robinson. He had an incredible year. He undoubtedly is a wide receiver one. I said it earlier. I'm going to be asking you guys that question next. But I think he definitely reaches 1K receiving yards again. I think receivers in general are more productive in 2020. I think just overall the offense is going to take a step forward, a very much so a step forward, and it's much needed. And I think Allen Robinson is once again going to have another productive year in Chicago. Jaylen, do you think Allen Robinson reaches 1K receiving yards in 2020?
I definitely feel like he can reach 1,000 yards again. Last season, he was our only weapon on the offensive side of the ball. We really depended on him more than any other player on that offense. He was our only receiver last year for the whole year, and then we got Anthony Miller in the second part of the season. So I feel like he can, get that 1,000 yards. He's probably going to get the most targets and the most receptions on the team again this year, and hopefully he makes the Pro Bowl in the All-Pro team. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think the Pro Bowl is something that he should be vying for here in 2020 after he might have gotten gypped in 2019. There were a lot of good receivers there in the NFC. But that being said, Robinson had a stellar year, and a lot of people think he did get snubbed there for the 2019 Pro Bowl. Zach, I'm going to go back to you now. Obviously, I already gave my viewpoint on this one, but obviously there was a lot of headlines this offseason when Ryan Clark said that Robinson wasn't a wide receiver one. Simple question, is Allen Robinson wide receiver one material in the NFL?
Yeah, he is. He's definitely, I think he's definitely a top 10 receiver. I've said this before, but in my eyes, he's top 5. Yeah, I am biased. But I think that considering everything, factoring in everything, we had poor quarterback play. Our line is not great. There's really not a lot of weapons outside of him. There was no tight end production at all last season. You factor in all of this stuff, the fact that he's able to put up these numbers despite a really challenging season for the offense, I think that shows that he is the wide receiver one. I think that he, without a question, undoubtedly has shown that he is great. So,
yeah, I mean, I can't agree with you more. You also have to look at how productive he was in an offense that wasn't productive there in 2019. That's a great point you bring up, Zach. I think he's a wide receiver one. Maybe if you put him on a team with a good receiver, he might step down a little bit. But on most teams in the NFL, I think Allen Robinson is undoubtedly a wide receiver one. Jaylen, is Allen Robinson a wide receiver one in this National Football League?
Definitely. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people in the NFL that feels that way. Probably a lot of cornerbacks that he's mixed up during this season probably feels that way. His production is there, even after coming off an ACL injury not that long ago, and for him to still put up 1,000 yards in a season is definitely crazy. So, yeah, he is a number one wide receiver. And if you feel otherwise, there's something wrong with you.
So, looking at Robinson's future in Chicago, he signed a 3-year deal there in 2017. He will be an unrestricted free agent there in 2021, approaching 27 years old. He signed a $14 million per year deal when he came to Chicago, $42 million guaranteed there. Obviously, looking like someone we're going to extend. So let's get into the numbers a little bit of it. Obviously, some receivers have recently gotten extensions. Guys like Tyrell Williams, T.Y. Hilton, Stephon Diggs up there with the Bills, Amari Cooper obviously with the Cowboys. You're expecting that Allen Robinson will be able to get some good numbers. And with inflation in this league, he's someone who's definitely going to need to get paid. And I feel like I could see him making money like a Jarvis Landry, like an Adam Thielen, like an Amari Cooper. You really can't underestimate how much he's able to do, especially just approaching 27 years old. I expect him to get some good money. So this next one's kind of predicting the amount of money he'll get guaranteed on his contract. Obviously we're no contract experts. Amari Cooper did just sign a deal with a total value of $100 million with $60 million guaranteed for 5 years. I believe that's $12 million guaranteed a year. I think Robinson will get something in the $10 to $15 million range guaranteed a year. Obviously, with incentives and stuff, that contract's going to take a huge jump. I can't give you a specific number. I hope it's a 4 or 5 year deal worth, 80 to $100 million. I think it's important that we lock up Allen Robinson entering the prime of his career. He's been such an inspiration to me personally, coming off that ACL injury and being so productive. But I think he definitely deserves top dollar money, like someone like a Keenan Allen, like a Tyler Boyd, like a Tyler Lockett, like a Stephon Diggs is getting. And I think he definitely deserves top dollar, and I definitely think he will get that top dollar. I'm going to go with either 4 years, $80 million, or 5 years around that Amari Cooper number, $100 million for his extension. If and when that gets done, I do think that gets done fairly soon. Zach, I'm going to pass it to you. What type of money do you think Allen Robinson will be getting if and when he gets this extension?
I feel like Allen Robinson would not be asking for like way too much money. I feel like Amari's contract is reasonable, especially for Allen Robinson, just because of everything that he's done for us and that he wants to retire a Chicago Bear. I don't think he's really the guy who's going to be like, I want, all of this money. I think that he's such a leader on offense too. He's a great guy. I think that he could be seeing a number around 5 years, 100 million and maybe 60 million guaranteed, just like Amari. But it's hard to predict that. I really don't know what factors into that. But I definitely agree with you. I would see something around 80 mil for 4, 100 for 5 years. I'm not too sure, but I would definitely be okay with those numbers. I think, like you're saying, you have to lock down Allen Robinson. He's our best target. It's not even questionable. So I think you lock him down. I think you pay him as much money as he wants, as long as it's like not ridiculously unreasonable, which I don't think he would do. So
yeah, you'd have to think that he's someone who would take one for the team and maybe take a little bit of less money if the Bears were looking to sign someone next offseason. There were murmurs of this deal getting done by like the Bears blog. Some decently reliable sources this offseason. Obviously, the Bears were a little bit tight on finances in 2020, so who knows if there's something already in place or what. Obviously, I know the new CBA will play into it. But Jaylen, do you expect this extension to get done? And give me a little bit of your thoughts as far as the money goes.
Yeah, if this extension is not done, something is wrong with Pace. This is your number one option on the offensive side of the ball. He's been reliable since he's been here since 2018. He was really the only weapon last year. We didn't have much production from the tight ends. The receivers was dropping a lot of balls, not running the routes, and the running back really didn't get holes like that to produce. So if Allen Robinson is not on this team, it's something wrong. He deserves every penny we're probably going to give him. And I definitely feel like he deserves around Amari Cooper numbers. Amari Cooper has had a couple better, more productive seasons than Allen Robinson has had since they've both been in the league. So I could predict around 80 million for 4 years or 100 million 20 years, like both you guys said. But we'll just see how this plays out. Hopefully he's a Bear for the rest of his career. And yeah.
Yeah, the Allen Robinson Foundation does a ton of great work in inner city Chicago, and Robinson has been someone to openly speak out and say he wants to spend the rest of his career there. Jaylen brings up a good point, no matter the dollar amount, lock this guy up, bring him back, and have him as the premier wide receiver. Obviously he said Amari Cooper has had a couple more productive seasons. That being said, Allen Robinson did tear his ACL there back in 2016, 2017, so obviously he's trending upwards as he continues to get better and better coming off that injury. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 28 of Uncut. That's pretty much going to do it for us. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe if you are new to the channel, click the bell for notifications whenever we post. If you want more content from us, head over to our website, beareddown.com. You can find columns, blogs, and articles over there. You can find the links to our Bears fan pages on Instagram down in the description, and you can also follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Beared Down. Second episode of the day. Feels pretty good to get 2 up. We're going to have some more stuff coming out later this week, working on some player interviews, also getting on some great reporters and some guests down the road. It's been a pleasure to talk to you guys today, Jaylen McClinton and Zach Rimbos. Any last words?
Really not much to say. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content we're putting out. We are working hard on that, so we're appreciative of that. Keep it up, and let's hit 1.5 this next week.
Crazy to think that.
Definitely, like both, Zach and Chris said, thank you guys for all the support that you have been, supporting this channel. It's been a long journey. It's still crazy to me how we made it this far. But yeah, bear down. That's about it.
And it's just coming on the brink of the summer, and hopefully if we're able to go to training camp and stuff, we're going to get a ton of more content out for you guys there. We're really trying to do something special here at Beared Down, and we're really just getting going. So I'm going to leave you guys with 3 words here. You know, it's been trending on Twitter for the last couple of days. Let's go with hashtag extend Allen Robinson. That's obviously the goal heading forward. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's a pretty good time to end this one off as my dogs are going crazy downstairs. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, Chicago, do me a favor and stay safe. And as always, bear down. Peace.